Hi there. I am going to talk briefly about a couple of things. What you will need to take the EVA, because you can't do anything until you do the EVA. And I'm also going to talk about how to best contact a professor, how to write to a professor in such a way that you don't look silly or ask for the wrong stuff. You're a scholar now and you need to present yourself as one. So there are some rules that you really want to follow. But first, let's start with the EVA. It is found right here. And you will need access to, when you take it, you will need access to the welcome video, which will be found here. And you will also need access to this video, as well as the syllabus, which is found here. And I will go over the syllabus in another video. For right now, we're just dealing with the stuff that we need for the EVA. So let's begin by looking at the how to email a professor link. Okay, first things first. Don't just jump in there and assume that the professor knows who you are. It doesn't matter if your professor is an adjunct professor, if they are fully tenured, if they've taught at the school for 1,000 years, it doesn't matter. They don't know necessarily who you are, what you want, what class you're talking about, any of that stuff. Always go from the assumption that more information you give, the better. You have probably got some teachers who teach at multiple schools, and I can tell you right now, there are a lot of students in each class, and teaching multiple classes with lots of students in them can make things very confusing. So always make sure you tell that instructor who you are and what you want to know. Make sure before you have actually sat down and spent time putting together a carefully constructed, well thought out, proofread email, make sure you've actually done the work to try to find the answer yourself. That's part of school. That's part of the reason you're coming to school, is to learn a little bit more about how you can best find the answers to important questions yourself. And even more important, how to ask the questions that need to be asked. So make sure that you have looked at the syllabus. Do a, color me crazy, do a search on the syllabus and search for a particular term. Or, if you have a question about a paper, maybe search for the name of the paper. If you have a question about attendance, search for the word attendance. Have you looked over the website? Have you looked at your notes? Have you gone back and looked at the specific videos that the teacher has created for each week, especially for the week that pertains to that question or that information? It's incumbent upon you to learn how to do that sort of research yourself, because you're not always going to have an instructor who is, willing to jump in there and say, oh yeah, here, let me give you all of these things. You need to look for those things yourself first. If you still can't find it, then, that does a couple of things. For me, that tells me that might be a part of the syllabus or a part of the class that I need to go back and make more specific. So I like it when students tell me, I've looked in these places. I can't find the answer to this question. What that does for me is it tells me, okay, this is how students look for this. And also, maybe I should add some information in those places. So you're helping me when you tell me, I've looked in these places and can't find the answer. So make sure that you've actually looked in those places, including the videos that I put together. More often than not, you will find the answers to the questions in the videos, and certainly in, assignment sheets and on the website. Please make sure you proofread. I don't care if you're writing to an English teacher or a science teacher or, whoever, even if it's not a teacher. For heaven's sakes, proofread your email. Make sure that it's got a salutation, that it's got a closing. Make sure that it has good punctuation and grammar. As I said before, because you are now in college, you are a scholar, an academic. You need to present yourself as one, and creating an email that looks like you don't care is not the way to do that. Do you start with a salutation? Do you give a thumbnail sketch of the issue or the problem? Do you give your personal information in the opening paragraph, the ray line, or the signature? For instance, this is an email that I got from a student. It is riddled with problems. There's no punctuation here with the exception of the question mark at the end of a very long run-on sentence. And if you read it, you can tell that this person has a lot of questions. And also, a lot of these questions could be answered by looking at the website, by doing the things that I mentioned earlier. Some specifics about emailing me. I get lots and lots of emails. When you email me, please include your class information in the subject line or the ray line of the email. Include your name in the email. I have rules set up in my email inbox that put student emails into a specific folder so that they don't get lost. I have found in the past students have tried to reach me and have not been able to reach me because my email box gets so full, and their email just kind of, cycles off the page. One semester, I had a student who I had to set up a folder for that individual student because she emailed me probably, I know, at least 48 times. And that was a lot. Eventually what happened with her was I just stopped responding to her because I couldn't keep up, and that didn't make me happy at all. I don't like that. But it was clear that she wasn't actually going and trying to find the answers herself. So, please include your information in that subject line, because if you don't, your email is going to go someplace where it's not supposed to, and the response is most likely going to at least be longer than it should be, and possibly you won't get a response at all. So if you're interested in getting a timely response, put that information in the subject line. If you don't hear from me within 2 or so days, check your email. Did you include the necessary information? If you didn't, that's probably what the problem is. Put the information in there and send it again. I try to get back to students within 24 hours, unless it's a weekend. I am teaching multiple classes this summer, so it is possible that, I will get overwhelmed and my email box will look like, a trash yard again. I hope not, but it's definitely possible. So, you will need the Canva link, which is here. Where did I put that? I didn't put it there. I believe it's in, here it is. It's in the same place with all of these other pieces of information you might need as you work on that EVA. The course syllabus, the schedule, the textbook, and of course, how to email a professor. This is the link that you'll need to get to that presentation in case you need it again as you are working on that EVA. So just as a reminder, that EVA lives right here, and you click on this and it will take you to the quiz, and the quiz counts for points. It will show up in your grade book. You get one try at it, and if you don't do it by the due date, you get kicked out of the class. So, make note of the due date, May 27th by midnight. I have to mark you as being in the class during that time, or else I have to mark you as never attended, and that's gonna have a pretty nasty impact on any financial aid you get. So please make sure that you do the EVA as soon as humanly possible. Make sure that you have viewed the video right here, that by the time you see this, that little eyeball will not be struck through, and make sure that you have access to all of these things here when you do take the EVA. You have one shot at it, so try to do well, because it is worth 100 points. And if you have any issues of a technological nature, I will do my best to help you out. But please know that the school gives me absolutely zero wiggle room with this. As you can see, it's a federal and state requirement thing. So please take the quiz as soon as possible. And once you do that, the rest of the class information will open up for you, and you'll be able to see everything else. So I am going to move on and do the next video that is going to show up in this spot over here on the left, and that's going to be the welcome video.